Hey friends, it's Matteo from the Global Expats, and today I'm going to be sharing my story of why I moved abroad. So I'll start my story out by my first 21 years of life. I'll make it a very short story because what happens after that is the exciting part. So I was your average scholar throughout high school and university. I was there to pass, and I didn't really care about much else. I needed to just get the grades that would give me the certificate, give me the degree, and then I'll be done with it. I can move on. Alright, so when did I actually decide to move abroad? The decision to move truly manifested its way into my life throughout my final year of university in 2015. The whole time that I was studying, throughout that final year, I just had this gut feeling that I needed to be somewhere else. I just didn't feel like this was the place for me. I had something pulling me away from where I was. But before I get into that, let me rewind a little. So I'm an Italian citizen. How, you may ask? Well, my father's side is Italian. My grandfather was fighting in World War II when he was captured in North Africa, in Tobruk. When he was captured there, he was put on a South African transport ship and actually shipped down to South Africa as a prisoner of war. When the war ended, the Italians got given the choice to either stay in South Africa or return to Italy. Italy at that time was in shambles. I mean, Mussolini had just ravaged the country and it was trying to pick up the pieces. So my grandfather decided that he would choose to stay in South Africa. They'd been prisoners of war in South Africa for years at this point, and so they decided to stay. After the war, my grandfather brought his brother across from Sicily, because that's where our family originates from. And together they opened up a hardware store. So that is why I hold dual nationality. From my grandfather's side being Italian, my mother's side being South African. So I never grew up speaking Italian. It was during my final year in university when I was taking Italian lessons once per week, and my desire to explore my Italian side just kept growing. So as much as I love South Africa, I did always have a desire to go and explore something else. I felt like I fit in a little bit everywhere, but not in one place totally. I feel like I still had to go out and find my spot in the world. So I was busy studying a degree in South Africa, yet I didn't want to work here. My whole brain, my whole thought process, everything had already moved. I was already living in Italy. And I feel like that is a big step towards actually getting something that you desire, is to picture yourself there, to wholeheartedly believe that you are already there and you just need to kind of take the steps to get there. Now, the small problem was that I had no idea what I was going to do there, nor how I could even get there. And so the search started. Remember that hardware store I mentioned? Well, my father and his cousin now ran the hardware store. So during my varsity holidays and after I finished studying, I went and worked for my father as a salesman. So you may be asking, why is this relevant? Every free moment I had at work, I would just scour the internet looking for something that could get me to go to Italy, something that would give me the means to move to Italy. I applied for numerous postgraduate jobs throughout Italy with little success. I mean, I didn't speak Italian at this stage and they didn't want English speakers. So my search went on for a few months. I'm not sure how long it took, but I eventually came across all the volunteering sites such as Woof. I put the link in the description so you can check it out. And at this stage, everything just clicked. I could move to Italy as a volunteer and they would pay for my board and lodging, my food, and that could be my means into Italy. If I could find a place to stay in Italy that also feeds me and I don't have to pay for it, there's my solution. Step one is completed. I will be in Italy. I looked through all types of volunteering, looking after children, picking grapes, helping with animals on a farm. Eventually, I came across a place called Italy Farmstay. It was a small farm in southern Italy and it looked and sounded perfect for what I was looking for. So I emailed the owner of this farm on the 19th of February, and to my surprise, he actually responded the next day. And in the email it said I could come. I was stoked and I started looking for flights immediately. So I got accepted to the farm on the 20th of February and my flights were booked on the 22nd. It took 2 days. My departure date was April and my return date was actually 8 months later. Now let me tell you, I was only planning on working on the farm for 2 months, so I had no idea what I was going to do for the other 6. But I just thought to myself, that's really future Mateo's worry, and I don't have to worry about that right now. And just in case you're wondering, I didn't change my ticket dates. They remained the same from day one. So I worked on the farm for 2 months, and the other 6 months, that's another video. I had 1.5 months to prepare for everything. I'd never packed for an 8-month adventure, and I've never even traveled solo. Per my mother's advice, I even carried around suits in case I had a job interview overseas. I had, however, been to Europe a few times for vacation, so I kinda had an understanding of it. The different emotions that I felt up to my departure date were all over the place. I was nervous, I was excited, I was scared, I was worried, and I was even calm. But there was one emotion that I didn't feel: doubt. I did not doubt my decision. I felt wholeheartedly that I was doing the right thing. Having packed and repacked a dozen times, my day of departure finally came. The 5th of April 2016, a day that I would unknowingly repeat a few times over throughout the next few years. Man, I was a ball of nerves. I had no idea what I was doing, and thankfully my parents were 200% on board with my decision. They've always encouraged us to go out and see what else there is in the world, what else the world has to offer. My parents were happy with the fact that I was just going to figure things out as I went along. So I said my goodbyes, I went through security, I went through boarding, and I sat down on the plane. What do you think I was feeling then? Man, I was crazy calm. I was like, I had never been at ease with myself like that. That's when I officially reinforced the feeling that I was making the right decision. I hadn't even left the country yet, and I'd already decided that I was in this for the long haul. I grew more in my solo 2016 journey than I had in my other 21 years of life combined. That leap was the gift that kept on giving, and it led up to many of the opportunities I've had in my life up to this stage, including meeting my wife, Michelle. I've been obsessed with personal growth ever since then, and I've made it my personal mission to try and stay as far away from the comfort zone as possible. Because as Neale Donald Walsch said, life begins at the end of your comfort zone, and that's where mine truly began. Misha and I will be releasing an entire expat series on this channel. So if you've ever thought or are thinking about moving abroad or traveling or living abroad, then be sure to click the subscribe button so that you can take advantage of the information that we're going to share, as well as the experiences that we've had. And if you guys have any questions or want to share your story or thoughts about this topic, then be sure to drop a comment below. I'll catch you later, friends.